Well, the bee is back and it's resplendent in its nothingness. So it's now come out of the rust bath and we've brought it back home. It's had one coating of, I think they call it bondrite, which is like an etching primer that protects it and stops it from rusting, flash rusting. So this should be good to leave like this as long as it's in the shed for quite a few months. And I can get on to doing some repairs. And there are lots of pet repairs, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. We'll do a quick sort of look around. So, you know, most of these bits, they're pretty sound, right? There's a few little tiny pieces like over there on the chassis, you can just see in the middle there. That's going to need a patch. Most of the rest of the engine bay is pretty good. The heater box assembly here, this is a disaster. You can see it's like Swiss cheese up underneath there. So that's going to take a bit of work, but fortunately the front bit isn't too bad, so I think I can just chop it out and do that. This bit up here, the sill, that's actually pretty good. It's flat, there's no holes right through it. There's a few little rust dints and things, but they're actually not deep. It feels quite smooth to the touch, so that's excellent. These corners, which are normally a problem, are good. Similarly, these corners here are all good. So that's nothing. These areas are also good, nice and solid, and the pillars here are nice and solid, which is also excellent. This subframe has a few spots here which you're going to need dealing with. The rest of the inside there is good. This bit down here on the inside of the lip of the subframe is going to need to be dealt with. And you can see the very nice Swiss cheese that is the heater box up here. That's probably going to be one of the harder bits because it's sort of underneath, it's hard to get to and it's tricky. The chassis rails here, they look pretty good. The dash structure all looks pretty sound. The tunnel itself is sound, which is good because that actually holds the car together. The back bit here and the wheel arches particularly are excellent, which is a bit unusual actually. The other bit that was hard, this rail here, this is actually good. I don't think I'm going to need to touch that. Normally they rust out and that means you have to pull this whole guard off, which is a real struggle. Top is good. These bits here are lead wiped. Someone's lead wiped this to seal it. I think that's the original one. The back is good. These areas here, these normally rust out, but this has been repaired a lot earlier and they've done a reasonable job of this bit. I think this was done professionally, but it's nice and solid. There really isn't much to be done around here, bit of patching up and things. The boot itself is really good. The inside edges, it's had repairs done in there, but they're solid and I might just tidy them up because they're a bit tacky. All this is good, excellent. The boot itself, you know, the floor of the boot is fine. Even right in this corner, once again, it's been done. It's solid, it's just not being done as well as I would like it, but we'll fix it. Yeah, it's all good. And go back around the other side. The other side is almost as good. The doors, they've come up pretty well. One of the doors has a tiny patch in the bottom corner that is so small, I don't think I'm even going to put a skin on it. I'm just going to try and patch weld that little tiny piece because the rest of it is fine, and door skins are not easy to do. Not that I'm looking for easy, but you know. So here's the other side. This is an interesting hole. In this one defined place, it's like Swiss cheese. The rest of it is fine. So I don't know what they had sitting on there, but whatever it was caused it to rust. Anyway, that's easily patched. This all looks good. This is easily fixed. Once again, the main structures are good, and things like these sills and the A-frame here at the front, these are all good, which is good news. The rear panel on this side is also good, as is the fillet at the top, which is excellent news. The only bit that's no good is this bit right down here. And you can see it's been repaired once before across here. I have a new dog leg piece which comes up to about here that replaces this whole piece, is one big piece. So because I'm going to take these sills off, the dog leg, you have to take that off anyway. The underguard is really good. I'm surprised actually. Anyway, it's all good in there. That's all good. And the rear on this side, it's also good. So I'm pretty happy with that. All looks peachy, as they say. Anyway, it's in the shed. Now the next big task is to put the rotator stand, or the rotisserie, mounted on the front, and then we can start rotating the shell around and put it upside down or put it on its edge, and that'll let us work on some of those areas that are a bit unpleasant to work on at the moment because they're upside down and things. So it's great. Anyway, so there's guards and bits and pieces and bonnets and boots everywhere. Anyway, then let the fun now begin.